Everyone, and those who are watching later, those who are watching right now as we are starting, welcome to this Memorial Day edition of the Creative Checkup. Right away, I just want to make sure that you're hearing me okay. I was just fooling with the mic and with all of our sound equipment, so I want to make sure you can hear me. So the first thing I want to do is just ask you how you're doing. If you can hear me okay, just comment in the chat. Hey, I'm good. Give me maybe your Memorial Day weekend plans. What are you planning to do today on Monday? Are you planning to celebrate? Are you planning to honor? Like, let me know in the chat, because number one, this helps me know that I am being heard, and that number two, that you are with me in celebrating and commemorating this Memorial Day weekend. So if you are new to this platform, if you're watching us on TikTok, you're watching on Facebook, watching on LinkedIn, or on YouTube, we are here to help you to transform your creative life from the inside out by applying timeless spiritual principles to temporary creative problems. I am your host and founder of this platform, Alan C. Paul. And what we do here is we help you, like I said, with just one specific thing, but actually we try to do four specific things, but one specific kind of key thing that we try to help you with in your creative life. And that's today, setting up your summer so that you can have the most productive, but also the most restful and fun and restorative summer as a creative. Now, if you're like me, and as soon as I start talking so strange, I always lose my voice. I got to go talk to our friend Melissa about why I lose my voice in the first 5 seconds of talking. I don't know what I do that I create that situation. But here we go. Yeah, there we go. I have to grab some water pretty soon. But once again, make sure you can hear me okay. If you can, I'm going to check one more time and make sure, because once again, I always get nervous at the very beginning. But yeah, it looks like sound is working fine. Awesome. Okay. So that's good. And let's make sure our banners are working. Let's go up here and find that. Welcome to today's session. As you can see, as you're talking and as we're sharing, if you're watching this later, you might think, okay, how does he get those comments up? Well, if you're watching live, I can pull your comments up on screen just like this using our StreamYard application, which is super cool. Also, if you're watching and you'd like to support us in terms of what we do here. Now, I know on TikTok, there's something a little different. I don't know if I've set up the creator tools there. But here on these other platforms, you can see right over here on the, sorry, a little nervous right there. You can see right here, I can point to it. I don't know if this is right here, right about there. Yes, the URL, not the URL, the QR code. You can look at that QR code and you can scan it and you can actually donate to our. And of course, as soon as I start, the lawn people start up. This is the number one thing about podcasting. As soon as you start a live stream or a recording, the lawn people come to your door and literally blow stuff right at you. So anyway, as I was saying, you can scan this QR code and you can actually donate to God and Gigs to help us continue to bring services like this. StreamYard is a service that we pay for to make sure you have the best service. The slides that you see are from beautiful AI. Everything we're sharing here, it does cost money to keep this operation going so that we can bless creators like you. And so if you want to give back, maybe you don't want to buy anything today, you don't decide to sign up for a membership, you just don't decide to get a ticket to a workshop, but you just want to help out, right there. Again, I'll try to point in the right place. That's where you can join us. All right. So awesome. Seeing some friends over there at TikTok as well. This is our new platform. Again, I wish I could show you guys the screen. I can't show you the screen because this is just a different situation, but I would love to make this a little bit more interactive with our TikTok fam as well. So once again, if you're new to God and Gigs, I'm the host and founder of God and Gigs, creative coach, podcaster, musician, author, and this is where we help you to transform your creative life from the inside out. So let's get into today's checkup. What do we have? We have a lot on the schedule, and I have to run out right at 2 o'clock to get to a friend's wedding, which is super cool. One of our friends getting married, member of our church, one of our dear friends, younger cat that's been in my life, been a blessing to me. So we get to go play a little bit, do a gig, but it's really not a gig. It's really more like a family celebration of his wedding. So get to run down there. So I got to run out right at 2 o'clock. Again, hopefully you're also not hearing all of the background noise. Trying not to be distracted, but I have the StreamYard setting to eliminate background noise. I pray it's working today because this is super distracting. All right. So today we're going to go through our news and notes. We always start with that. And we're going to get into our May expert workshop, which is so awesome. We finally got it scheduled. And this is going to blow your mind when I tell you the kind of stuff we're going to share in our May expert workshop, which is Saturday. I'll get more into the details. You're going to want to be there. Okay. Then we're going to get into our U version plan update, new podcast interviews I've done, and a new quick reminder of a workshop that I haven't told anybody else about. I'm going to let you guys know I haven't told anybody else about this workshop. It's like under the radar, but we're going to try it. So I'm going to let you know about that. Then we're going to go to our vital signs, how to make summer productive and restorative, how to have fun, but also make this summer, especially for most of us creatives and creators. Summer is not always the best time to grow. It feels like things slow down, people go on vacation, and especially if you're a musician, it gets tough out there because there's like maybe festivals and stuff, but not a lot else goes, especially down here in South Florida. The season is like over as soon as Memorial Day. So everybody else is starting summer. Creatives, we're kind of feeling like we're about to hit like, a death spiral. So we're going to talk about how to make it productive and restorative so you can keep your momentum. Then we're going to talk about our lab work, invoice financing, and cash flow. Might sound boring, but this has been a key blessing to me in terms of how I keep my cash running throughout the year and definitely during the summer. I'm going to tell you how I do that. Then we're going to get into the consult. What's one idea that you should have tried? This is for those of us who had that one idea and we left it. And then we were like, oh my God, I could have done blank, blank, blank. We're going to commiserate together and talk about the ideas that we could have done and didn't do so that we don't run into that again. Finally, I'm going to give you the prescriptions, what I'd like you to do next, what I believe you should do next. And that will be, well, I'll share. There's something else I'd like you to do, but I won't talk about it right now. All right. I am so excited, y'all. I wish I had some confetti, some kind of asset where I could show some confetti, some media thing. Do I have anything like that? Do we have a celebration thing? I need like music or celebration. I have some music here. Maybe this is the music we could play when we have a new member. I don't know. Doesn't really get my attention. Nah, we gotta find some music. We gotta find some music to play when we have a new member. So we have a new member in the God and Gigs 360 community. Her name is Trisha Harrison. Trisha Harrison. Now, why is it so cool that she joined God and Gigs 360? It's because she's our next established creative expert. She's the one doing the workshop on Saturday, and she joined the membership. This is what makes this absolutely crazy and special. The fact that I'm having a workshop with this person who's incredibly gifted and smart and giving of her knowledge in a workshop, and she chooses. I never make anybody join. I give them the opportunity to join, but I never say you have to join the membership. She joined the membership as a expert, and now she's going to be sharing not only in the workshop, but she gets to hang out with us so you can talk to her throughout the year. So this is such a cool thing. So I'll read a little bit about Trisha Harrison for those of you who can't read it. She runs a boutique VA placement agency and a consulting studio that helps overwhelmed founders hire the right support and tackle and scale without the stress. She also mentors virtual assistants and coaches remote job seekers so that whether they're hiring help or trying to become it, she's the go-to for remote work done right. Freelancers, creatives, this is a person that understands how to get systems and things that will actually get you either hired or can help you operate in a way that you can hire people. Creatives, we don't get that. So that's why I want to get right to why it's so exciting that she's here. She's going to be doing the Think Like a Business, Create Like an Artist workshop, how to build time-saving systems and get more productive. This is next Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern, okay? I am telling you, I've been watching and looking at her presentation. I guarantee you nobody is talking about the things that we're talking about for creators. Most times, I'll tell you exactly what happens. Creators, we try to do everything ourselves, and then eventually we might get successful, and then we immediately feel overwhelmed because we don't know what we did to get successful. And now we're feeling like we got to hire somebody, but how do I hire somebody? Can I afford to hire somebody? What do I even tell them? Every single time. This happened to me. You get a little bit of motion, and then the fact that you don't know how to delegate and how to build a system and save time immediately stops you in your tracks. So that's why I am highly, 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 highly recommending all of us. We need to be at the godandgigs.com/system workshop. That's how you get tickets unless you are already a member of God and Gigs 360 or the Creative Resource Center. Then you already got tickets. But if you do not have a membership to 360 yet, this is how you get that ticket. It's $10 only. And all you got to do is sign up at godandgigs.com/system workshop. And that will get you in to this workshop, which is next Saturday, May 31st, 12 p.m. Eastern. We did it on a Saturday so that as many of you can come, even if you have a full-time or 9-to-5 jobs. Okay? So if that excites you, if you are excited, wait a minute, you mean someone's going to help me save time? Make sure you are there. Do not go into summer overwhelmed. We're going to talk more about that in a second. All right. Also, on news and notes, excited to give you an update on the Creator's Purpose. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to give you an update on the Creator's Purpose. That's our reading plan on YouVersion. Okay, we do have a reading plan on the YouVersion Bible.com app. And so far, we have 785 readers and almost 500 have completed. Now, let me tell you why that 500 number is important. Okay, if we reach 1,000 people who have completed this reading plan on the YouVersion app, we get a special banner that says over 1,000 completions. That is social proof that this reading plan is blessing people and it helps us get more visibility on the YouVersion app. It's so strange to say this, but it's true. Sometimes we just don't know what we need until we see it. Creators and artists on YouVersion probably don't know that there is an app, that there is a reading plan that is available for them that can help them to figure out their creative purpose, to understand what it means to follow God, but also create in the mainstream. They don't know that this exists. That's why I'm hoping that you will check out the Creator's Purpose. And all you got to do to find it, if you don't have the Bible app, you can go ahead and download the Bible app as well at godandgigs.com/YouVersion. Okay, if you go to godandgigs.com/YouVersion, you can download the app and you'll see all of our plans available there. godandgigs.com/YouVersion. Okay, that's how you find the reading plan. That's how you get the Creator's Purpose. That's how you can get the app. Everything is there. It's simple to get all of that into your phone. All right. I'm super excited about that. Again, getting almost to 1,000 readers is amazing. And if we hit that 500 completions first. And then if we hit the 800, 900, the 1,000 completed, that's a huge milestone. Let me quickly say hi to some of the friends that came in while we were getting started. Wilfredo is in the house already, man. Thank you so much for joining us once again. He is our brother from Stuck in Your Mind podcast. Amazing, amazing brother. Thank you so much for coming in again, bro, and blessing us with your presence and being along with us. And those of you who are watching but are not commenting, hey, I understand. Maybe you're watching at work. Maybe you're just listening and you can't comment. But your comments, number one, actually help us get more reach and help us reach more creatives. And two, your comments help me feel like I'm not alone. Speaking of, our first comment from LinkedIn. What's up, Alicia? This is amazing. And you are getting the Creator's Purpose. Look, number one, Alicia, I can say this, but please put your website of your community in the chat. Alicia, I've been following. We've been kind of like in each other's orbit for years. I think I did do one of your community events where I got to share at least once. But Alicia has an amazing group. So please put that in the chat so that they can follow you as well. Because really what I see God and Gigs is as the nexus of all these other amazing Christian creative groups of faith-focused, character-focused creatives. And you are definitely one of them. So please share your information in there as you are getting the Creator's Purpose. I appreciate you so much. All right. Speaking of people I appreciate, we're almost done with the news and notes. I'm sorry, guys, but there's so much cool stuff happening. And sometimes it takes forever to get through it. And I hope you don't mind that we are sharing all the news and the cool stuff that's happening at God and Gigs, because this is about our community. So I am also super excited about this new podcast interview I got to do with Gail Santil. She is a gem. And again, someone that I've been following for years. We have been in the South Florida area, probably within 30 minutes of each other. but yet could not connect. Her group is called God Arts. We are God Arts. And when I tell you that finally, when we got together and had our podcast interview, she was just a breath of fresh air. So much of alignment between our two programs and our communities where we were both trying to serve creatives, trying to share the love of Christ, but while doing so in the mainstream. And how can we bless these artists? So I got to share a little bit of my story, but what's funny about when we talk in these kind of arrangements, even if you know what God and Gifts came from, it goes areas that I don't usually get a chance to share. Like that's what happens in these podcast interviews. Usually it goes in a way that like, wow, I've never talked about that. No one even knows that. And she was able to pull those amazing tidbits that will bless you and encourage you. So please go check that out. Her podcast, again, is called the God Arts Podcast. And then you'll see my interview there. And also, I was also on a cool interview called the Power of Man podcast with Roy Paquette. He's one of the most cool guys. Like when I say just a guy's guy, a man that is comfortable in his own skin. Roy is amazing. He's also interviewed me on the Power of Man podcast. I don't have those links in front of me, but if you look up Power of Man podcast, I believe I was one of the most recent episodes. You can check that out as well. Awesome. Alicia is sharing about her. So Alicia, I'm going to go ahead and share this now since we're talking about our community. Alicia says, I meet people at the start of their entrepreneurial journey when they're unsure, stuck, or scared, and walk with them as they take bold, obedient steps, putting them on a path to their personalized success. Woo! Look, that's a mission statement for you, my sister. That's a mission statement. So God bless you. You guys go check her out at daredream.co. This is what I love about this platform. I can talk about God Arts. We can talk about Dare Dream. Like, look at how many different ways that God is connecting the dots between all of our different platforms. Because just like churches, just like ministries, one of us cannot do it all, but all of us together can do it all. So I love how we're blessing each other and sharing these platforms. This is really a God sent opportunity for us to connect. All right, you guys, I think that is all the news and notes. Let me check real quick. Let me go back here and put myself back on screen. Let's see what we have next. Oh, one more thing. I'm almost done. Sorry, last one, news and notes. If you are one of those people that have been struggling with too many ideas. And by the way, I got to say over here, I just saw Mia on TikTok. Mia, good to see you. I love the fact that you're hanging out with us. Mia is a member at our church, but also an incredible creative. So it's awesome to see your friends at TikTok who are also amazing creatives. So I saw you over there. I wish I could have jumped in and saw you and said hi right away. All right. So if you are someone that is struggling with too many ideas, in other words, you are the one that's like, I don't know where to start. I want to do a podcast. I want to do a membership. I want to do this. I want to be a painter. I want to be a singer. I want to be an artist. I want to be a writer. And I don't know where to start. And you end up doing nothing. I had this conversation with one of my friends at my wife's birthday party. We had like a little quick get together and they surprised her. And this conversation came up. And she's probably like the third or fourth time person that has said, I feel paralyzed because I have too many ideas. Now, this is right away. I'm just going to say this is not a thought out idea. I'm literally saying I have too many ideas. So I'm just going to throw this at the wall and see if it sticks. If you are interested in attending a workshop that will help you with too many ideas, then head out to, actually, no, don't head anywhere because I don't have a website for it. I don't have a website for it. Just put TMI in the comments. Put TMI in the comments. If you put TMI in the comments, then I will reach out or DM me, however you want to connect with me, and I will send you the Zoom link for this workshop. But I am not advertising this anywhere else. Why? Because I don't want to get stuck in my own ideas and get caught up in, I need a landing page. I need this, I need that. This is literally like, if you want to come, come. If not, there's no marketing in this at all. It's literally just, do you have too many ideas? Come, let's talk. All right. So this will be, I will tell you, it's going to be Saturday morning. So it's literally tomorrow. Okay. All right. I see you, Wilfredo. So I'm going to go ahead and I can send this to you. Also, you know what? Don't just put that. Also put where I can reach you. Okay. If you want to like Instagram, if you want me to send it to you on I don't know if I have your email. I think I have your email, but wherever I can DM you, also put that. So put TMI and also put, where I can DM you the Zoom link. All right, so make sure I can get it to you because I know I can't put it publicly here. But yeah, we'll get you that Zoom link, man, because I would love for you to be a part of this conversation. Again, we don't know where we're gonna go. We're just gonna try it. We're gonna see what happens. All right, you guys. Let's get into our meat of the matter today. What we're gonna be talking about. So let me get the stinger ready. We're gonna play it, and then we're going to go into our next segment, which is our vital signs. You all, we are at the edge of summer. The edge of summer. We are right at Memorial Day weekend, which for most of us really is the unofficial beginning of the summer. So, for those of you who are in the creative field, which should be pretty much all of us, you know that this brings mixed feelings. For some of us, it is time to relax. Well, if you're a parent, you have to think about how to get your kids to school, or not to school, but to summer camp and what the heck they're going to do. Or you're thinking of summer vacations. You're thinking of kind of winding down a little bit. But for those of us who, especially in the performing arts, the summer can be very, very stressful. It can feel like you've gotten out of your rhythm. Gigs in certain areas, like where I live in South Florida, the season kind of grinds down where people are not hiring as much. Maybe it's wedding season for some of you, so maybe work picks up for you, but then it gets more stressful because you have more work to do. So the summer just brings new challenges to creatives that we don't experience the rest of the year. Besides that, it's also the midpoint of the year. So if you have not been on the right track throughout the summer, or throughout the spring, I should say, winter and spring, if you have been feeling like, I don't know what direction I'm going, and it's June, and now things are slowing down, and I don't even know like what my process is, summer can feel like a punch in the gut because now you're halfway through the year and you may not have achieved the goals that you've been planning to achieve. So the reason why I made this our we tried to make this our theme for this live stream, is because I want to make sure that all of our community have the most productive, but also restorative summer. Okay? Your summer does not have to be woe is me. There's no gigs. There's no performances. Nobody's calling me. I can't afford a vacation. Let's just sit and mope. Because I've done that before. Let me just be straight up with you. I'm going to be very transparent. Even if I share this later, it's okay. If I record this and I share it later, I'm going to be okay with you. You guys are listening, but I know other people are going to be like, whoa, that's kind of deep. Summer for me used to be one of the most depressing parts of the year because remember, I was a teacher for almost 10 years. And I would get to the summer and I would be used to this time routine of getting up, getting home, doing my lesson plans, whatever. And then I'd get home and I'd get at the summer, and all that would change. It would be like a totally different. And for those of us who are kind of workaholics, I was a miserable person during the summer, which sounds again weird, but I was miserable. Why? Because I hadn't really intentionally thought through how am I going to use this summer to be productive and restorative. Instead, I was like, oh, what do I do with myself? And then when I tried to do stuff, I didn't feel like I got enough done because I had more time. So why didn't I get more done? And it was like more pressure and more just discombobulation. That's just a long word that just meant I was really just messed up. And I remember that feeling. And I know creatives, we can get stuck both in the routine and the lack of the routine. So the summer for me has a lot of different connotations. And if it's for you too, let me know, even in the comments as you're watching or listening. Let me know if the summer has also been a time of frustration, of maybe lack of income, maybe things slow down, and maybe things speed up. But if summer has been a change of pace for you in the past and you have been less productive and also didn't feel rested, then share it in the chat, because if you share that, I'll know I'm not alone in that. So the question is, how can we make our summer more productive, but also more restorative so that we get to have the fun and the relaxation that we need to really recover and be the best kind of creative? And remember, Those of you who are following God and Gigs for a while, we've been doing the best year ever. That's our theme for the entire year. So if you're doing the best year ever, well, then we need to have our best summer ever. Okay? So I'm going to have four tips here, 4 processes that I think will make your summer both productive and restorative. So let's start with number 1. The first step, or the first mindset I think we need to adopt as creatives who want to make our best summer that's both productive and restorative, is that we have to retreat. Now, I've always had this kind of love-hate relationship with the word retreat, and here's why. It's because sometimes I felt like retreating meant like an army retreating, and you give up and you back all the way up and you don't make any more forward progress. And of course, that's the wrong idea for a retreat. What I'm thinking of is retreating from the day-to-day. Now, for some of you, that might mean taking a vacation. For some of you, that might mean simply taking a day off. Y'all raise your hands in the chat and anywhere else that you're watching if you've ever struggled to take a break. I'm just being honest with you. It's one of the hardest things for me, whether it's the summer or any other time of year, to actually retreat, to say no Instagram, no posting, no composing, no gigging, none of that. I'm just going to retreat, even if it's just in my staycation mode. I'm going to retreat and take some time away from my routine so that I can recuperate and refresh and decide what to do next. So everyone that's watching and listening, even if you can't necessarily afford a vacation during the summer, be like me, push yourself, find a way to retreat. Why am I making this a point? Because you can't do the other things that I'm about to talk about if you don't retreat. If you don't get out of the same old, if you don't get out of the routines and the processes and the expectations and the environment that you're used to, there's no way you're going to see clearly on the next 3 things that we're going to share. So the first step, the first plan to have a productive, restful summer is to find some way to retreat. But the second one is to review. As I mentioned earlier, this is the midpoint of the year, June, July, August. It's where you can look and see the last 6 months and say to yourself, how did things really go? Now, John Maxwell does this to a absolute ridiculous level. Okay. He does this at the end of the year. He takes every calendar invite, every meeting, every single correspondence. He looks at everything and does an exhaustive evaluation of it. And he decides, was this a good use of my time? I can tell you I'm not doing that. I'm not going through every single thing. However, I am taking a chance to review all the things I've done for the first 6 months in terms of the major initiatives I've made, the major products I've tried to create, the productions I've tried to put on, the connections I've been making. I'm going to look back at all of those for the first 6 months and just say, what's really happening? What worked? What didn't work? And reviewing just gives you like that 2020 relaxed hindsight, not the, oh my gosh, I need to fix something, but the almost, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost detached way of looking at it, like it wasn't you. Like you just were in another body and you're just an observer and you're like, oh, Alan did 17 projects. Alan wrote 4 songs. Alan did 6 concerts. Alan said he was going to write a book, but didn't write a book. I mean, I'm talking to myself in the third person in a weird way, but again, it's kind of like just says, okay, this is not even me anymore. This is like a person X. And then just start to look at it, review it. What really happened? Sometimes as a creative, especially, we're doing so much and moving so fast that we really don't remember what we did. You might look at the beginning of the year, the first 6 months, to say, whoa, I was all over the place. How did I get all this done? And you give yourself a pat on the back. Or maybe you'll look at your connections and your creative output, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, there was so much that I did that I didn't give myself credit for. So the review process is not just going to be doom and gloom. You're going to give yourself some kudos for your successes. And then, as we're going to see later, you're going to also be able to mark out where you can improve. But this is part of the summer plan, just taking a break and then reviewing what went on. Alicia, I love these comments. I'm going to pull them up at the end of this because I feel like this is going to be a perfect way to kind of encapsulate what we just shared. So after we go through our review and our retreat, now we're going to renew. So what do I mean? And what's the difference between review and renew? Well, if you remember our best year ever framework, the beginning of the year, we talked about spiritual alignment. And then we talked about clarity and focus in February. And then we talked about community in March. And then we talked about monetization strategies in April. And in May, this month, we're talking about systems and time management. If in the month of June, you say, all right, which one of these things do I need to renew my commitment to? I guarantee you the rest of your year is going to go better because you renewed your commitment to the things that actually are focused or the things that you need to focus on. If you take your time and say, what's my vision? What is my purpose? What did I really set out to accomplish as you do your review? And then as you renew, excuse me, guys, as you renew your commitment to that, you will start to say, wait a minute, I can improve this year. I can put a new, my goodness, I'm so sorry, guys. Of course, whenever I'm supposed to say the most important point is whenever I get a raspy voice. So this is what I really want to focus on throughout the year, the thing that I want to renew my commitment to. So what is that for you? Maybe you want to renew your commitment to actual creative work. Maybe you've got stuck in the weeds of administration, sharing on social media, but actually writing, singing, recording, playing, maybe that got away from you. So renew your commitment to the thing that moves the needle in your creative life. Maybe it is administrative. Now, this is what we're going to talk about in the systems workshop. So I'm so excited. This is perfect timing for this. So I want you to think about renewing your commitment to that thing during the summer. Not everything, just the thing that is really the heart of your creative life, your spiritual life. Recommit to those things. You're going to renew your commitment during the summer. It's going to help you feel like you're balanced, restored, and back to who you are, even if you're like me and your whole routine got upset. Now, we talked about first you retreat, then we're going to review, then we're going to renew. Finally, let's revise. Renewing is about going back to the things that you absolutely want to do and focusing on them. Revision are the things we need to change. So after you renew your commitment during the summer, let's revise some things for the next 6 months. What didn't work? What things are things that you need to add or take away from your plate? And use that summertime, that time at the beach, that time in your retreat. I love what you just said, Victoria, by the way. I'm going to post all these comments at the end of this segment. But take some time to really think, okay, what's going to change now? And here's where I would do a plug for both the God and Gigs 360 community and the other communities that are even represented here. If you are in a member of a community, this is where you go to your friends and family inside the community and you say, hey, what do you think? What would you suggest for the next 6 months? Seeing what you've seen for the last 6 months. Because I guarantee you the people who really have your creativity, your spirit, your relationships at heart, they're going to help you revise your plans. Mentorship matters. So if you are in a community like God and Gigs 360, I'm kind of doing a little plug here because I do believe some of you that are even in the membership just haven't had a chance to post recently. You might think, I don't know what to post. This is what you post. Hey guys, I'm planning my next 6 months. What do you think? Don't ask ChatGPT. I get it. ChatGPT can all this stuff, but ask a real person. What do you believe would be a great idea to push for in the next 6 months for my second half of the year? I guarantee if you do that, you're going to find so much more motivation. You're going to be restored because people are now pouring into you and you're not pouring yourself. So this is where community really matters to be able to do the revision of your plans so that your summer is productive and restorative. And again, you can do all of this at the beach. You can do this by the pool. You can do this on vacation. You can do this at home, just relaxing with your family. None of this involves a lot of work or trying to grind it out. It just means you take a step back and you say to yourself, okay, now I'm going to think of how I can make the rest of my year better. Okay? So remember, our 4 steps were to retreat, review, renew, and then revise. So I hope that blessed you. Now let's get to these comments. This is amazing. I love the fact that we're sharing, especially from LinkedIn, our friends at LinkedIn. Alicia says, when school's out, my work productivity takes a hit because I'm juggling the challenge of finding fun things to do with my family. Honestly, I often struggle to figure out how to keep everyone entertained without losing my focus. My friend, this was me. 100% me. I'm not sure if you got little ones at home or whatever the situation with the family, but this is literally my situation. How do I find time to make sure I'm actually being focused on the family, make sure they're having fun, but also getting the right blend of me time, all of that. I am so glad you shared that because this is exactly where I'm at. And this is where, again, the community can help. I think we need to talk to other parents as creatives. I did a blog post about being a parent and a creative and how sometimes it just feels like those two worlds just don't match. So I would highly recommend that you continue to talk to your community because you got some amazing people around you. Let's get some parents talking. And what do we do to make sure that our summer works together with our creative goals? And I love these 3 R's that you put as well: review, reassess, and rest. Rest goes right there with the retreat. We are on the right same page with our R's. I love this. Victoria from 12th Street Talkback Podcast. She just said, I just did that, of course, asking the Lord for guidance. I believe, are you saying retreat? Did you just revise your plans? Did you just renew your commitment? So I just wonder which one, because I don't know what you were responding to. So let me know which one of those things that you responded to, which one you just did. But that's a blessing that you did it. Always asking the Lord for guidance, always praying about this, retreating, all of this. I believe Jesus retreated every single time he did a major miracle. Retreated with his family, retreated with his Lord, with his Father. Just absolutely always prioritized alone time and backing up from the day to day. So Jesus modeled that for us. I believe that's something that we should do as well. All right, that was a great segment. Thank you guys for participating in that. We're going to keep it moving because we have so much to get to and I got to be out right at 2. So now we're going to move on to our lab work. All right, this is exciting because we're talking about money. You know, talking about money is never bad, right? Well, it could be, but in this case it's not. So those of you who are following along with me, you all know that I am trying to get my cash flow together. You know that I have been, guilty right here. Again, let me just tell you, remind you guys, if you want to support us, you can go to this QR code right up here and you can give any amount to God and Gigs because the things I'm talking about right now, paying for StreamYard, paying for our Mighty Networks, 360, our web app, all of that. I'm very honest with you guys when I say that my 3 tiers of income, which is my church position where I serve as a creative and my music position serves as creative. And then there's the God and Gigs and the coaching, that 2 of those legs are pretty strong and 1 is oftentimes a little bit wobbly. So remember, everything I'm practicing, I'm also preaching, and everything I'm preaching, I'm also practicing, including how am I keeping my cash flow going. So I'm being very honest with you. The cash flow right now comes from 90% my creative work at my church and my music career. I am wanting to strengthen this leg of the table so that is much better so that I can share what I'm sharing with you and that this particular platform pays for itself. That's my goal. So how am I doing that? Well, one reason that I really highly recommend that you go check out my YouTube where I shared why I'm moving away from Cash App, I'm moving away from Zelle, is because I want to get serious about my business when it comes to invoices. So what I've been trying to do is every single time I have any kind of gig, any kind of performance, I create an invoice. So there is an invoice for even the little cash gigs that I do sometimes. Wherever I show up, I write an invoice. Even if I don't send it to the artist or send it to the client, there's an invoice there. Now I use Bill.com. I'm not a affiliate of Bill.com, but what I love about Bill.com has been that it also, because I work with a couple of vendors and booking agents that use Bill.com, and so Bill.com showed me, oh, would you like to finance your invoice? And I was like, what? I can finance my invoices? Again, this is kind of business stuff that most creators don't hear. And they were like, yeah. And so I did the application, and sure enough, now, as soon as I get the invoice or send the invoice to this particular vendor, I can then get paid instead of waiting net 30, instead of waiting a month to get paid. And those of you who know, how many of you have been in situations where you've had the net 30, you do the work, and then they're like, yeah, we'll send you the check in an hour, I wish, in a month, in a week. How many of you have been in that situation? Well, I'm sure there are other ways to do this other than Bill.com. If you know about them, please share them in the chat or in the comment where you can have your invoices financed. And again, here's a big thing. Please make sure, as I'm saying this, it is kind of like a credit of a line of credit on a paycheck. It's not the same as a payday loan, none of that stuff, but it is very similar in terms of like you are floating an amount. So if you're floating that amount in credit and those people renege on their agreement, well, you're out of a big situation. You're out of that money. Well, you have the money, but now you got to pay it back yourself. You don't want that. So what you want to do is make sure you only do invoice financing with reputable companies that are already on the platform and that are already sending you regular payments. That's why it's working for me, because I have regular payments whenever I do a gig with this particular agency. So this is something you maybe never thought of, and that's why I wanted to bring it to your attention. So if you've never thought of invoice financing before, if you have not been doing invoices, that's the first thing. So let me go quickly. I'm going to go into and find out where did I do the YouTube on cash flow. Give me half a second. I'm trying to think out loud and trying to remember when I did it. Because we talked about invoices, cash flow. I cannot remember which episode it was. I have to do a big old search for that right now because I don't know exactly where it is. I don't want to spend the entire time looking for it. All right. So that is my advice to you. If you have never tried, number one, the first step is writing invoices for everything. That's the first step. Okay. So if you don't know how to use invoices, PayPal lets you do invoices. Obviously, there's actual bookkeeping software like QuickBooks. Bill.com is the one I use for invoices. A lot of banks now will let you do invoices inside of their like a business style bank. They might have something on their website that allows you to do that. A lot of the new banks, the new online banks, help you create invoices. And of course, you could always do this inside of any kind of word processing app or spreadsheet app, as long as you have a template for that. So that's the first step I would say, is always create the invoices. And then secondly, once you get into a system that does support income financing and invoice financing, especially during the summer months, like we're talking about, when things are slow, just be very wise, but also consider the value that it has in keeping your cash flow moving, so you're not sitting there waiting for money for weeks at a time, months at a time. I've been trying to get out of that. In most cases, I've been trying to get out of sitting around waiting for checks after I've done the work. I am really, really highly trying to make sure that all the work I do is either paid on the day of or right after, but that I'm not sitting around waiting for checks in the mail for my performances. That's just where I'm trying to get at. It's also, of course, where I want all of our community to get at, so that your cash flow is moving as you continue to build up more credibility in whatever you're doing as a creative. All right. I think we have a great feel on that. I didn't see any comments on that particular section. Oh, wait, there's Alicia. Awesome. Okay. Alicia says, I use Novo Bank. I've heard of Novo Bank. I can create, actually, I think I had an account with Novo Bank one time. I can create invoices and there's no monthly fee for banking, but I've never heard of financing my invoices and support the profit first methodology, which I love. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait, y'all, I'm going to disappear for just a second. Alicia, I don't know if you caught this live stream or this workshop. Here I go. Coming back. But you would love this for sure. I don't know if you know about it. This is our friend Christian Brim. He just did a workshop in our membership on how to be passionate and profitable as a creative. He wrote this book, Profit First for Creatives. I gave away copies. I can still give away copies if you would like to join our membership, of course. And either way, I want you to get this in your hand because this is what we're talking about. Profit First for Creatives. We are also a supporter of Profit First. I've done at least 2 or 3 different episodes on Profit First. And you would love this material. We're going to try to have Christian back. And he is a member of 360 as well, by the way. He's also an established creative expert inside our membership, which just fills me with joy and godly pride when I can say, hey, this person is a member of our membership. Like, this is awesome. Okay, so no, but we'll check it out. Absolutely check it out. This is going to be a blessing to you. And if I can pull up his, let me see if I can do this real fast. I'm going to try to do this as fast as possible to see if I have his thumbnail. Let me go to thumbnails real quick so I can show you the workshop that is available inside our membership. And I can also do replays. I see it. There it is. There it is. Okay, so that's the workshop that is inside our membership right now. From Passion to Profit, how to turn your creative gifts into sustainable income. So that particular workshop, y'all, if you're interested in how to build a income stream that actually blesses you and builds up wealth in your particular profession, not switching professions, doing this as a creative, then this is why I suggest you go to guidegeeks.com/membership, because this particular workshop, even though it already happened, is still available inside our membership. Okay. And as I mentioned, we already have our systems workshop coming out, which is just $10. But if you join the Creative Resource Center or our gold membership, which is our live coaching, you get into all of these workshops and you get access to all the old ones as well. So basically any workshop we've done on any topic for $10 a month, you could actually have access to it. Instead of just paying the one price for the ticket, you get all of them for $10 a month. All right. So highly recommend that. Leisha, thank you so much for that comment. I'm going to jump real quick without the stinger because we're running out of time. I love the production value and everything, but let's just jump as fast as we can into our consult. So quickly, I would love to know from you. This is where you got to respond. So I'll wait a little bit because I know some of you are watching. And by the way, if you're watching on replay, also share this in the comments. Okay. What idea do you wish you had tried? I'm doing a TMI, Too Many Ideas exercise or workshop tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Again, if you want to attend that, just put TMI in the comments. Of course, those of you who are watching after Saturday, it will be too late, but I'll still know that you're available or interested. So if you want to do that, put TMI in the comments, okay? But I'd also want you to put in the comments, what idea did you have that you sat on that you never explored? You wish you had tried it, and now you look back and you feel like it's too late. Oh my gosh, I wish when I was a kid, I had this idea. I remember, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was either an idea for something in a car, like a car, not a cup holder. It was something like that. It was something inside the car that I was a little kid. I was like, they should invent this, right? And then they go and invent it, and you just feel like you missed out on millions of dollars, right? How many times does this happen when you're watching an infomercial and you're like, I had that idea. I thought of that. I wish I had done that. I could have been a millionaire. How many times does that happen to us, right? Because we do have great ideas often. But as we talked about in the TMI idea, the problem is that sometimes we don't move on the one and then we get stuck and then we don't do any of them. And the one that we would have moved on, the song idea, the music idea, the poetry idea, the book idea, whatever it is, you get there and you're like, why didn't I try it? Why didn't I at least just start it? I should have tried this. I should have tried that. So any of you watching on TikTok, by the way, as well, if you want to chime in this, or on Twitter, because we have some friends watching on Twitter as well. So any of you guys watching, tell me in the comments or in the responses in the replays later, what idea do you wish you had taken up? What idea are you saying, oh, if I had only, And again, I shared mine, and I'm going to see here real quick. Let's see if I can do a thing from my, where can I go? If I go to my brain, and when I say my brain, you might be like, what's that? I'm going to show you where a lot of my ideas have been sitting for years and years and where I have to pop them out and have to start working on them. Let's see here. I'm going to put my someday. Someday. There we go. What someday is called for me. It looks like I only have one thing under someday. I want to show this to you. So what I use someday is for the things that I want to do one day, but I've never really planned it out. I've never really figured out like when I can do this thing, how I can do this thing. It's a thing where, you just say, someday I'm going to do this. Someday I'm going to do that. But you never actually make it happen. And let me just tell you, honestly, someday is not the time to plan for something. Someday has to become a day at some point. You can't just always be someday. It has to be one day, and you have to pick the day that's actually going to happen. I love this. Let me put the Alicia says, I had the idea to create an app that told me where people connected with me. Oh my gosh. So you had like the find me idea. Okay. And you know what? Look, I'm not going to say it's too late for that because maybe, Apple and all these other places are already doing, location searches, but I think someone could do that better. And obviously there's always privacy worries and people like that, but heck, there's so much of that issue right now that everybody else is having, and they're still creating apps and things like that. So I love that idea. I love that idea. And I love the fact that you're willing to share it. So that's what I'm talking about. Just being honest and saying, this is an idea that I really either should have tried, I should have moved on, and I just didn't. So let me see if you guys can see this. Yes. Okay. So this is my brain. This is someday. And my brain, when I say this, it is literally my brain. It's like everything I've written down for all these years. So when I put 10X conference, this is just something I would like to go to. The 10X conference, I believe, is done by Grant Cardone. And I was like, one day I'd like to go to that. So that doesn't really count as an idea. So I'm going to put in here ideas. I'm just going to take a little tour of my brain for half a second. Let's see here. Ideas, financial coaching idea. Oh, see, so there's my financial coaching ideas, the episode ideas. These are all things that I should have started or episode ideas that I want to do. There are my blog ideas that I never really did. How I published a book and started a brand. I don't know if I did create that lifestyle article, I think, but I don't think I've released it. Okay, so see, this is a proof. This is proof where there are things that like ideas that I never really like stuck with. I started them but didn't finish them. So yeah, you can guys, this is just like, again, I'm just kind of like wandering right now, but this is what I'm talking about. Like looking around, this is like me reviewing what ideas have I had that I've never moved forward on. Actually, let's see. Let me look at the book ideas real quick. Book ideas. Oh my gosh, that's right. See, you guys are in the real time or seeing the ideas that I had forgotten about. I had totally forgotten about this idea. I had forgotten that I was thinking about doing the working worshiper. Wow. I had forgotten about that entirely. This is what I'm talking about. And there's another one. I'm not crazy, I'm creative. So that was another book idea I had to write that I've never done. Mini essay book. This is the one I have to do, you guys. The reboot of God and Gigs Creativity. This has to happen. I literally thought about this morning. I have to stop putting this off. This idea is the one that I have to do. So I got to stop putting that off. There will be, I have to put a deadline on it. Just hold my feet to the fire, you guys. If you don't see the reboot of God and Gigs, the Creators Edition by November, there's a problem. I should have done it. I'm going to give myself 6 months. We just talked about the summer. This is my own commitment to myself, to you guys, to have a new edition of God and Gigs, but written for all creatives instead of just church musicians. So I've just shared it here with you guys. It's an idea I wish I'd done, an idea that I haven't done yet, and now something I need to do, and I'm just going to hold myself accountable to you guys. So please let me know if you don't see this by March. If you don't see this by November, my friends on TikTok, they're watching, help me out. If you do not see a new version of my book by November, call me out. As a matter of fact, call me out before that. Just tell me, how far along are you on your book, Alan? How far along are you on the reboot of God and Gigs Creators Edition? Like, where you at? Okay, I need y'all now. In my community in God and Gigs 360, they're already holding my feet to the fire. So I'm opening the door to you all as well. Okay, I gotta leave on time, you guys. So this was a cool little thing to talk about ideas, but I am encouraging all of you to continue on your ideas. Let's finish up with our prescriptions. So remember, I would love for you to join the Creative Resource Center. That's godandgigs.com/membership. The thing is, I would love for you to come to the May Creative Expert Workshop next week on Saturday, but that would be a $10 charge to go to that. Or you could just go to godandgigs.com/membership and get the subscription, and you can see all of them, any of them, and all of them for till kingdom come, till Jesus returns. Okay, so my suggestion is to go to godandgigs.com/membership, join there, and then you'll get the ticket to our workshop on systems and time management with Trisha Harrison. But if you want to just go to the May Creative Expert Workshop, then you're just going to go to godandgigs.com/system workshop. That's what it is. godandgigs.com/system workshop. Let me pull that up real quick, just to make sure that you guys remember where it is. Give me half a second. Where is it? There it is. So if you want to simply go to that, just that workshop, then you go to godandgigs.com/systems workshop. That's where you go for that. If you're going to go buy just for that particular thing, and you don't want to see any of the rest of the stuff, that's fine. I understand. That might help out if you just want to go to the systems workshop and want to learn about that, and that's where you want to go to, then you can just get the ticket to that particular workshop. But I would definitely suggest that you get the membership, and then you can go to any of them and see everything that has been going on in the past. All right, you guys, we're right on the time where I have to run and get ready for our cool little wedding. I have a blessing here. Let me pull up this last comment from Alicia on ideas. I had the idea to write a book called From This Day Forward, but then I realized that Amy Groeschel and Craig Groeschel had written a book with the same title, so I never continued. Okay, they wrote a book with the same title, but was it the same story? I would like to challenge you there and say that the title can change. Like, I would say almost immediately, like, write the book first and then figure out a title. And how many titles are exactly the same? That, or it might be slightly different or whatever. And you just have to massage it a little bit, make sure you're not violating any copyright laws and stuff like that, or trademarks. But yeah, I would challenge you there that there's probably room for another book on the same type of subject that's different that would be yours. So Alicia, I'm holding myself to the accountability of starting the creators edition of God and Gigs. I'm going to ask you nicely to consider continuing that book, because that is an idea that, again, this is why we're going to talk about the TMI workshop. So any guys that you are interested, again, this is going to be tomorrow, 9:30. Not making this public, just for people who want to come. Put TMI in the comments. I'll be checking the replay by tomorrow, Saturday morning. I'll know if you want to come, and then I'll just figure out how to get in touch with you. Send me an email or whatever. You can always email me at alan@godandgigs.com, Alan, ALLEN @godandgigs.com. And you can tell me, hey, I want to come to the TMI workshop, and I know that you're not sharing it publicly. Just let me know. I'll send that link to you directly. We'll do it old school. But again, this is just because I didn't want to spend any more time building up landing pages and URLs and pretty links. I was like, whoever shall come will come. He who has ears, let him hear. And then we're just going to go from there and see if this idea has legs. All right, my friends, this was a blessing. Thank you so much, Alicia, for coming through, Wilfredo for coming through, Victoria for coming through. Those of you who didn't comment because you were busy, couldn't get to the phone, couldn't get to, to share on any kind of device to actually comment. Totally understand that. Our friends on TikTok who hung out. I saw every time I looked up, I was like, oh, there's somebody else hanging out with us on TikTok. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Even though you couldn't see the screen, I totally appreciate you being a part of this. you saw that we have so much going on. So once again, you're invited to our membership. You're invited to our workshops. And of course, to check us out on YouTube, because if you watch on YouTube, you'll be able to see my screen and everything else. That link is in my bio and godandgigs.com. Okay. Well, sorry, the bio and TikTok. Okay. And then you can go to our website, and you can also go to our YouTube, and you can see everything that everybody else sees. All right. Gotta run, you guys. Get ready for this wedding. God bless you. Thank you so much. We will probably have a live stream next week, but I just pray before that you have a wonderful, safe, and honoring Memorial Day weekend. Remember to make this summer the best that it ever has been, using our framework. Share this with other people, because the live stream stays live. So those of you on TikTok can't do that, but LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, if you like this, and Twitter, by the way, and X, if you like this, please share it with someone. Maybe there's a segment that you really want them to watch. Maybe there's a part in the summer. Maybe there's a part on the ideas. Maybe you want to share the workshops with them. You can share this live stream with them, okay? So God bless you. I see TikTok's about to sign us off. So we're going to go ahead and head out. Alicia, thank you so much for joining me. Really, it was just a blessing to have you on on LinkedIn. That was just such a blessing to know that we are making an impact there. I love LinkedIn. And thanks to Alicia, thanks to LaShonda and her help, me going live. This has been a blessing. And now we're going live on all these different places via StreamYard. If you're interested in StreamYard, by the way that we create all these, not necessarily the slides, but the live streams experience, everything you see, that's at StreamYard. You can go to godandgigs.com/toolkit, and you can find out how we do all the things we do by creating all these different cool things, the QR codes, the Canva, the graphics, like all of this melds together to create a live stream experience, which I really, really love, and I'm beginning to get more and more excited about every time I get to go live. But with that, thank you so much. God bless you guys. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. And until next time, continue to become the creative that you were created to be. Oh, last little thing. Remember, there's a podcast coming out on Monday. So you'll get to hear this probably in some shape or form on Monday as well. So look out for the podcast, godandgigs.com/podcast. All right, that's it. I promise. See you guys. God bless. Have a great weekend.